All right, the last recording was cut off, so it's a continuation. Second part of the November 10th International Segway Polo Association Board of Directors meeting. What I was specifying was that I'd be more than happy to continue with the Internal Revenue Service 501c3 until that is complete and done, regardless of my status on the board, to just from a basis of helping out the new board. Even though I won't be on the board, I'll be more than happy if the new board would like me to do that. More than happy to do that. So that's all that I wanted to do. And of course, that 501c3 is really important for us. So anyway, moving on, that was an informational item. Any questions on that at all about the 501c3? Anything that we need to talk more about? Do you guys want to know more about it? Did you all get a copy of the letter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a big forward progress thing. So, okay. Item 6, informational items. Nothing. Oh, Rules Committee seated. Steve, can you tell us about what's going on with the Rules Committee and where that's at?
This was, I think, from last meeting, but I'll be happy to go over it. The Rules Committee seating was much simpler. The election process was not required. And so we're in a position where they're determining their chairman. I've handed most of the interaction, the work of interacting with them, off to Alexander. Alexander, has there been progress there?
Say again, I just dropped out.
No problem. I was just saying that the Rules Committee has been seated, but you're now their point of contact. And I was asking, was there any progress in terms of determining a chairman or meetings?
No, well, there have been some talks about it, but the last, I got a mail, or I was involved in a mail discussion here on the 27th of October, and that's the last I've heard, but I'll take that. What I'll do is I'll reach out to them and make sure that we'll get an answer for them as soon as possible.
Would it be worthwhile to have the chairman attend the December Board of Directors meeting?
I'm happy to do something that's necessary, but
it's not necessary. But I think it would kind of get across that we need the process start moving forward. I'd like to hear some progress from them.
Alexander, yeah. How do you feel about
that? That you're attending the.
Basically, what he's saying is, would you recommend that I go ahead and attend the Rules Committee meeting for December to just kick things off and convey how important things are, that we start moving forward with working on the rules?
Yeah, I think either you should do that or I could do that as well. When is it in December again? Do we have the date for that?
I was actually saying the reverse, that the Rules
Committee
I apologize. The Rules Committee chairman attend the Board of Directors meeting in December.
Yeah. But that means also that
either way, though, is fine.
No, I would prefer that they attend our meeting, and I think that should be. I think their chair should attend all of our meetings, unless they don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. So then I suggest that I'll send out to the Rules Committee that they have to decide this matter so that they can have their chairman attending on our next Board of Directors meeting in December.
Also, would it be good for us to hand the Rules Committee some issues that perhaps were coming up in last WAS Cup for them to...
Do we have those? I mean, do we know those issues? Because I'm all for that. If we know something, I'm all for it.
Well, when I say issues, maybe I should say it's fairly evident that there's variation in how rules are interpreted by various referees. That's why we have to have a referees meeting that goes on for an hour or two beforehand. And that's one other reason why the unsafe play gets whipped out. That's sort of the catch-all rule. But, as an example, I don't want to go into a lot of detail here, whether you can put your mount in front of someone else's Segway was a point of contention among various referees. Some referees felt it was okay, others didn't feel it was okay. And it would seem like any time that we were whipping out the unsafe rules card or making unsafe rules or unsafe play foul, that was an opportunity to clarify the rules. Like maybe write it into the rules that an opposing person's mallet cannot go anywhere from the right in front of the left tire all the way to the right tire for 2 feet ahead of the Segway. You see what I'm saying? Unless the ball's there too.
Are we assuming though that they don't know these things, or we should just give them some information? Or I'm assuming that they signed up for the rules committee because they know that there's problems.
Well, I'd like to see us jumpstart them on discussing issues like that, because I don't think that discussion's occurring. So if we gave them a list of 3 things, I think it would at least start them out. Here's your first agenda. See my point?
Yeah, sure, totally. I think that's a great idea. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. I mean, we could also address that in an email by just emailing it to their chairman or as well and saying, hey, we were talking to the board of directors meeting and this is what we came up with as a list of ideas.
Right, and that's what I'm looking for. The board of directors providing them an email saying, here's at least 3 topics we came up with, and I don't care whether you come up with it, I come up with it, Alexander. It doesn't matter. Coming up with 3 topics is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is remember back to WASCUP, and you'll start thinking of a lot of things to address. So.
I would go ahead and get that to Alexander, and then Alexander, if you could send the email out. Because, Steve, you're Alexander, unless you guys know something too, but Steve, I know you are really active in the rules committee, and I just thought that if Alexander sends it out and it comes from the vice chairman, it'll as silly as it is, it'll have weight.
Oh, I agree. I'm more than happy having Alexander do it. I just, as a group, I'm thinking this would be, this would facilitate them coming up with their first meeting and having some agenda items all ready to go. We gave them the batteries from Olaf, but I think we need to do a little more than that. Remember?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm good with that. That's fine. And Alexander, I have it written down. You'll communicate with the chairman of the rules committee to get them to let them know when our December meeting is and attend the December meeting.
Yep.
Okay, great. Speaking of December meeting, I have it as December 2nd. Should we move that, or should we go ahead and keep it on the 2nd? Should we move it to the 9th?
When's Bo getting back?
That I don't know.
Hello?
He's gone for quite a while, though, so I don't think we should work about scheduling too far. If we get too far back and then we're starting to get into the holidays.
Right, I'm fine with the 2nd.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm fine with the 9th. Bo will definitely be back on the 9th.
Oh, let's do the 9th then.
All right, I would say the 9th. So, Alexander, if you can let them know that we'll do it on the 9th at the same time, and unless the time change won't work for them, and we'll try to work around that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
All right.
Alexander, I was wondering if you did receive any sort of a notification about this meeting other than the email? In other words, a text?
Yes, I did. A text arrived.
Excellent. Okay, great.
The reason
I also got the text.
Right. I was seeing if Teamer would send that automated text out internationally as well, and apparently it does.
Yes, it does. That was one thing they told me in there that it does send out those texts internationally. And it's great. I love having the ability to have it remind me when the meeting is, and also ask me if I'm attending or not. And it's just a simple click. Yes, I'm attending, or no, I'm not. I think it's a great thing that we can use that. I'm pretty excited about that one function. I know it seems silly, but that's a great function.
I think that function could be leveraged to get team captains more involved with Teamer. Now, when they go between the calendaring and the SMSing, they can have reminders going out for all the practices they do.
Well, that's the thing is that they have now. Be advised that ISPA pays a cost for that, but it's minimal. So, but they can go in and put their events in their own calendars, and they can be flagged to go out and notify people as well. I think that them having the ability to have their own team page and have their team members is really valuable. But what we're going to need in order to get them engaged is someone to hold a webinar on that and have the captains join in and take a look at that, and we'll have to have it in a few different time zones to make sure that it goes through. But it's a fantastic opportunity. They can also, I know with our team, when we were going to Wads Cup, we had jerseys to buy and things like that. They have the ability to set that up their own store, and so they can actually put them on there, and people can go on and select their sizes and buy their products right there. So I think that, and I know that the folks over at Valve have been doing a really good job of creating different products and things. I know that when Christy and Kelsey were back in Germany, we were given a Segway Polo family mug. It was really, really cool. Very, very neat. So anyway,
perhaps Bo could find a German team captain who's willing to walk through this process first, and then based on that we can do a webinar, hopefully both in English and German. See my point?
Yeah, I mean, we could do it that way, or you could just we could train Bo in that, and he could give the German one, and we could give the English one.
Sure. I think a test run with one receptive German team captain would be a good idea, though, just to work out the kinks.
Sure. No, I would agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just thought I'd mention that as a step forward in providing functionality for our team captains and, of course, all our players.
Very cool. Perfect. All right. We'll move on to Commissioner comments. Item 8.
Wait. New business not on the agenda?
Well, I thought that you already addressed that, but go ahead.
Oh, I did have one new business item, possibly.
Sure.
We have a sanctioning process, and it very clearly dictates 5 people on a team. And according to the rules and all that. I shouldn't say the sanctioning document says it. The ISPA rules say it. At points in the past, there used to be versions, and did I say rules? Yeah, I think that's right. At points in the past, the rules were maybe a little more complex and specified things like lower number of players, and in addition to that, also maybe a certain number of each sex on a team. I don't know why they did that, but they did it. Never ever became relevant. My reason for saying it is I think currently today an ISPA sanctioned tournament has to have 5 players on each team, and I did a little digging, so take my word for that. If that's going to continue to be the case, would we want to maybe provide a differing level of sanctioning? Because ISPA sanctioning implies certain services and certain costs. And what I've seen this year is we've had a lot of smaller scale events that were non-sanctioned. But I'm seeing the opportunity perhaps that we could be doing. I think there's actually another one coming up this spring in the UK, right?
Yeah, I did see something about a spring tournament in the UK.
But it's going to be a 4-player again, so that immediately takes ISPA sanctioning off the table as it stands today. So I was wondering if we want.
Well, how do you get around that though, Steve? I mean, how do you say
I don't think we should. I think ISPA sanctioning defines WAS Cup and large-scale international competitions. I'm looking more for a regional competition that is sanctioned by ISPA, if that's appropriate, if that's the direction we want to go in. But I did want to throw out.
I think that sanctioning is more than just saying that ISPA approves the event. That's what it is today. But I think that the goal for that is to eventually have services wrapped around that sanctioning term, so that we have insurance services and the other things that are associated with that. So it by sanctioning an event, what we're doing is we're telling the people that are potentially going to sign up for that event that we're following ISPA rules. We're
following ISPA rules, and we're assuring a certain level of service from the organizers to the players.
Well, that part can be doesn't have to be there to have an ISPA sanctioned side of things. What we would need is eventually when we offer insurance for the players and insurance for the tournament organizers, then the insurance will dictate a lot of those things to say, hey, you have to have an ambulance, you have to have this, or whatever the case is. We further that. But what you're asking, and I think it's totally valid, is to do something like an ISPA sanctioned tournament versus an ISPA sanctioned regional type of event where they don't have insurance coverages and everything. We're still playing by the ISPA rules, and the 4-on-4, again, it can be a fun tournament or whatever. I don't really know how you deal with that. Alexander, do you have a comment on that? I mean, you're kind of understanding the terms as far as how, we've talked about sanctioning before and some of the things that are associated with that. I kind of look at it like sanctioning tells the player this is what to expect.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we feel about a tournament that maybe follows the rules, but they're playing 4-on-4, or maybe the field isn't the correct length, or whatever?
I mean,